Hello, and once again, welcome back here, ladies and gentlemen, to the DreamHack Pro Circuit for Rocket League live from Leipzig, Germany, where we are just still kind of trickling on through the 32 teams that we do have here competing over the weekend. And next up, we have very big names within North America and Europe between EG and TSM. There's so much to be talking about with them, but man, for me, the one thing that I'm looking at when I talk about these teams, coming into Rocket League, studying up on EG, it was so hard to get a scope on who they are, how good they are, and going into it. And a lot of it was they live in a shadow of the big three. Yeah. And they go in there with Chicago into Season 6 Worlds, and it feels like they end up having the struggles. They end up losing Chicago. And that is the Rookie of the Year. This guy is a very standout player from North America. And the first move you end up making past that point, cross-regional pickup, the first ever in Rocket League history. It seems so bold to me to want to get into that shadow, to be a part of it all, and then, again, kind of make an unprecedented gesture.
They're so hard to predict because I feel like, all right, so EG, they are groundhogs. Every time they get out of the shadow of the big three, then they look behind them and they see their own shadow and they scurry back under the ground and fall back down. They'll have a great World Championship run and then they'll bomb out of E-League or they'll bomb out of Gnarly and not even qualify. It seems like every time they have a solid performance where it's like, maybe they're in the conversation, they always bomb out right after. And this move for Drippe, like obviously you lose Chicago, who was probably their best player, like we think a world-class talent.
Oh, he's certainly great.
And they pick up Drippe, who they literally could not play with before they picked him up. So it's a very bold move, and we'll see if it pays off. But so far, they've had some mixed results.
Yeah.
Hit me with it.
I think you said it best, rather than the groundhog analogy.
Groundhog, I thought it was
I think you nailed it.
The analogy is a little
6 more weeks of winter.
Deep. 6 more weeks of winter for EG, and very bold move. Just because, like you say, we know Drip is a great talent in OCE, obviously, but again, you have to come out here and prove that performance in OCE translates to the North American region, and I'm not quite certain that it will yet. So we definitely have to find out. This is a great chance. TSM, obviously not North America, but you just heard Violent Panda in the last interview. That's the team everybody's gunning for out of Europe. Let's go. Let's see it.
Yeah, let's go and let's see it. And you know what? Quickly here, we're going to bring some context to everything that's been happening through the entirety of the tournament before we dive a little bit deeper into EG and things of the like here, or bringing up the votes. One of the two is going to happen, and I'm just going to wait till it happens before I say any other words. There it is. We figured it out. You guys at home have the opportunity to vote here. EG or TSM. Who do you think is going to win? And purely based off the logic that I displayed already before, I feel like I'm wondering what is EG going to do, and that's not even considering the other side of the battlefield. TSM, those guys are coming in hot. Yeah, maybe not universal victories, but E-League, they looked like gods among men, it felt like at moments.
They looked fantastic. The one big hiccup that I have about TSM is just consistency. Because again, that's a team that is perfectly capable of winning any event that you put them in, but you never know if they're going to do it. And it's to a lesser degree than I think than Cloud9. Because Cloud9 is like, they'll always get top 4.
Yeah.
TSM is be like, they're always like, yeah, they could win it all. Will they? I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, like I'm not completely sold on TSM. Like even when they won E-League, they were down 3-1 to Flipside Tactics to even make it to the bracket stage. So they're a team in the mix for sure, but I don't think they kind of stand out in Europe. But probably the best compliment that you can get is Violent Panda up here saying TSM is the team to beat.
And that's because I think they are. I think they are definitely currently the best team in Europe. It's just, do they consistently be the best
Which is surprising because Flipside are the champions of
I mean, I like Flipside. I like Flipside. Just, I'm not sold on Flipside. Right. I am sold on TSM.
That was what I was going to say. Is I feel like Flipside would have something to be able to say about that there. But we're going to go ahead and take a closer look at one of these teams here before we dive too much into the rest of the squad and competitors here. Taking a first glance at what is going to be EG, a roster that, as we said, has very kind of been mixed up here between Classics, Drippe, and Corrupted G. What player here within the roster, knowing the matchup, that you really want to see step up, other than I feel like Drippe does have a lot to prove?
I have to say Classics because he's so up and down, I feel like, on LAN. Like, even at the World Championship, there were some games where he looked like lost at times, and then just all of a sudden he would get one quality goal, he jumps up, he's popping off, he's screaming,
and the team just wins,
and then everyone starts playing better on EG. So when Classics
is doing well,
it's like once he's doing well, he'll start yelling at the other team, and then all of EG is like, super excited and they start winning games. And like Drippe, he's a LAN boy. He shows up at every single LAN, and that was when he was with the Chiefs. The Chiefs always had great results. We'll see if he can continue that with EG. He's going to be getting better and better. He's in a better region now. He's playing better opponents. See if that kind of translates on this squad of Evil Geniuses to a quality LAN showing.
And on the other side of the battlefield here, we have TSM, one of the biggest names within the scene, definitely within the world of esports there, as you see the striker of this squad, the guy who really stepped up during E-League, iGNITE.
Yeah, iGNITE popped off big at E-League, but the complete other end of the spectrum for WSOE, he is so on or off for TSM.
Yeah.
If iGNITE's on, they're winning. And if Remco is on at the same time iGNITE's on, TSM's winning everything.
So you're saying a guy with Ignite within his name is really the spark of the flame here of this roster.
They absolutely are. It's like Remco, you can always count on him to be a strong striking presence. He'll always be able to do something. Metsonoris, I think, honestly puts his name in the hat for one of the best support players in the entire game, up there with Violent Panda and Torment and the like. But iGNITE, God among men, or maybe you could have done better, buddy.
What about
and it comes down to that. Like, I feel like Remco, he's a great defensive talent, and sometimes he has that offensive spark, but they need iGNITE. They need him
iGNITE
to score a couple more goals, and then we can play a little bit more defensive, and Remco can play that third-man role that he's most comfortable in, and that's when TSM really succeeds.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, the relationship there on the front end of the battlefield for TSM is so interesting between Metza and, you know, Remco, or excuse me, iGNITE there, and trying to pressure that out. Is there anything that you think can happen from the other players other than iGNITE to enable him here in these moments? Like, is there something play style while they can shift?
I don't think there is. It's literally just iGNITE's shooting ability. Like, they get him opportunities. That's what you want. That's great. Just put the ball in the net. Like, I think,
easy as that.
I think they do it well. I don't think they have to change anything. It's just iGNITE needs to put the ball in the net.
Just got to put the ball in the hole. It's as simple as that one there.
Simple as that.
You know what? Let's go ahead and figure out what your guys' predictions are going into this one, because I think it is a very, very interesting one for a lot of fans back at home. We started with the Chiefs. We've done Gibbs a lot. You know what? I'll go ahead and kick it off first here. I'm just ruining the camera decision-making here. But if that's even allowed at this point, I reside on the side of TSM, and that is purely off principle. That is not whether or not iGNITE is going to show up. It is just to have a move as bold as that as EG. It's, you know, a guilty until proven innocent type circumstance for me.
I think there's a chance that EG can surprise here, but I'm going to play the odds on this one, and I'm going to go TSM just because they have more experience. They've been closer to the top more times than EG has, so I will give it to TSM, but there is a chance, I think, that EG can upset it.
Yeah, I definitely like TSM as well, just because, again, the experience, the big factor. Even if iGNITE doesn't step up, I'm just not sold on Evil Genius's defense being able to stop them, just because I think the loss of Chicago, a little bit too much for them to adjust to in that scope.
Yeah, it was a big hit. You know, he's a player that even on his other rosters here, transitioning out, has really been able to make a name for himself. And I feel like it's shown he's going to be somebody we have to look forward to for quite some time here. As we take the votes coming in from you guys, it seems like they agree. 71% sitting on the side of TSM. And I think rightly so, especially if you witness E-League at all. A lot of you are going to go like, how do you ever even take this team? They can beat pretty much anyone at that point in time. And with all the things kind of getting so chaotic in Rocket League, I feel like this series is going to be really cool to be looking out for. Is there anything, you know, since we do all weigh on the side of TSM, that we want different? You talked about Classic stepping up for the team. Is there something better than that? Because that seems like it's a morality thing, right? Is there anything in-game? Better passes?
Like, that's all I want to see is just Classics. Like, if he gets going in game number one, I think the sky, like, we could see EG surprise. If they steal game one, then Classics, he begins to get going, and Corrupted G, he comes up to speed.
You
and
press the prime button.
Exactly. And once they start
you
going,
gotta pull the ripcord still.
It's hard to stop them. And I think they've seen it time and time again, like at the World Championship. They take down teams that we didn't think that they could beat, but EG does it over and over and over again. I think it's possible.
If they can get the momentum, they can be a bit of a freight train.
Yes.
The momentum, though, has to sit on their side. And as we know in Rocket League, momentum is so very important. And I'm not talking about team morale at this point in time. But we're going to go ahead and bring in our casters for this next series. And it is none other than Shogun and Johnny Boy once more. Guys, do you share the same sentiments? Do you think TSM has it here?
I feel like we both are going to share the same sentiment on that one. TSM have just been really like getting better and better. They've finally proven that they can win the big one. Now it's about getting that consistency to do it at the top.
Yeah, they've proven to be one of the best teams in the world by beating some of the best teams in the world. And EG just haven't done that yet.
All right, well, you know what? We'll find out if they have what it takes. Take it away, boys.
Thank you so very much, Dreadnought. This is going to be a very interesting series, though. Both these teams, I mean, I've quite a few questions to ask them, but the main player we're going to be looking at is Drippe across this because, you know, he was a very high-profile roster move, one of the very first players that we've seen move an entire continent, coming straight over from OCE to move over to North America. And it's a lot, like, not only is it a risk for the org, but it's a huge risk for him. He's got a lot to try and prove and not a lot of time to do it.
See, I think this is just a long game from Drippe. He's not just moving a continent, he's gonna move a team, a whole continent. Just give them one more season of RLCS and then maybe bench someone for Kami, and then move maybe one more season of RLCS and bench someone else for Torsos. Bam, you've got Chiefs and NA RLCS. They said it couldn't be done, but you know, I don't really know if that's really what you're thinking about right now. In fact, I'm confident it's not, because they're going to be looking to make another upset. A few upsets have been made by EG in the past year. This, however, I think would possibly be the biggest one.
Yes,
this would be crazy.
Evil Genius is sort of known at this point for, on occasion, playing party pooper to a lot of the very big teams, but their biggest problem is, whilst they've always wanted to be considered in that upper echelon of North American Rocket League, they just can't consistently beat the big teams over there. It's just, they get the one win, they think they're already up there, and no, you've got to do it more often than just that, as we're going to be getting our first game underway in just a second. The E-League champions taking it to the field for the first time on our stream. Both these teams already winning once today. Here's going to be trying to find the second one to move on to day 2.
There's a big game here for EG. They much more than TSM. They need a good start here. TSM are, you know, really shown recently that they can fight tooth and nail. They can fight head-to-head with anyone in the world, really. Except I think that was the one team that always had their number. TSM have been so good ever since picking up Metsinaris. Just getting better and better with every event. Is this just going to be another event they can see improvement from? Metsa testing the goalkeeper from EG early is going to be answered. Actually, Remco missing here, given a chance to EG on the counter, but Metsinaris looking pretty good right now, very speedy and accurate. We'll get another win on another race to the ball. So far, pretty standard stuff. The ball's just doing laps around the field, and everybody's chasing after it. Yeah, very relaxed rotation for both these teams. No one really wanting to press too far forward to the opposing side of the field. Classics. Very happy that Drippe managed to help him out there, because that was very open and available for TSM to try and latch onto. I think TSM going to be the first team to finally start playing players forward, and Ignite, a testing shot for Drippe, who does deal with it well. The EG are getting some nice distance on their clears here, and if nothing else, that's given them time to restock and boost and make sure that they're not all going up into the same position. That's the kind of thing they need to do against TSM, not just for this game, but for the entire series if they want to be able to match a great European team. So far, so good, or is it? Just half a chance there. Ignite not really believing that the ball would fall down in front of him there, but it actually did. EG get away with it this time. We've seen a lot of goals coming from situations just like that one. Very slow attempt at getting rid of the ball so far. If you were going to complain about anything on EG, it would be exactly that, and it will cost them. You know, TSM did take advantage, but Evil Geniuses didn't know how they wanted to play this. Yeah, Drippe with a really strange touch there. He had so much time, and I don't think he realized just how much time he had. Nobody's communicated that to him, that there really isn't anybody challenging you there. You don't need to make a touch on the ball. If he just held onto this, he would have been just fine to take it down and dribble, but as is, he tries to clear it and ends up just passing away the possession to TSM. One shot goes wide, one shot goes in. It's 1-0 to the European team. Metsinaris keeping that pressure on. Still yet to see Evil Geniuses really break out in offense. 2 minutes are down. Ignite looks to make it 2, and his shot wasn't powerful enough. Very close, however, to making it 2-0, and still TSM controlling the rotation. And if there's any player in the world that knows what it's like to dominate a rotation against almost any team, it is Remco. Oh, yes. Became famous for it of the very first iteration of We Them Girls. Yeah, the original 3-man rotation, as fast as possible, in, out, and then repeat. He's always been able to find himself onto rosters that can play that style. He's never really had to change the way he plays the game, and it's an effective way to play. one of the few players to win one of the early LANs in Rocket League, and also a recent LAN. You know, other names like Cuxer come to mind. There's only a few players in that category. Most of the recent LAN wins have been newer players. Of course, there are exceptions, but you know, at least at this event, we're seeing a very even split between NA and EU. Whoever wins this is gonna make their region have more teams already qualified to day 2. So I think it's 5 each, of course, with Tatum Mines maybe being the only non-NA-EU team that have progressed so far. Sonorous kind of finding himself in the right place, right time there, but EG not under too much pressure at the moment. This is okay for them. They've kind of found their feet in defense after a couple of scares. They just need to find a way to create some meaningful chance at the other end of the field.
Yeah, now they've got defense sorted out. They've got to try and find something in offense. But TSM, once again, very disciplined with how they move this around. And they've managed to escape with pretty much no opportunities created for the evil geniuses. Corrupted G tries to go long, expecting Classes to maybe get a bump on our Ignite. Shot straight down. Remco deals with that one, and he's kept it quite close to himself. He attempts to transition the ball away from the side of the field. Ignite's not done well with this, though. Could be dangerous. Drepe's already up, and it's gonna go off the post and not in. It hit both sides of the woodwork. First opportunity for evil geniuses, and it should have been a goal.
Drepe should really be putting that on target. I mean, he was pretty close, but close is not going to cut it. Now they've got to start all over again. 20 seconds. Looking for the equalizer still are evil geniuses. TSM, they're scared of their own there. And now it's them who's hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, Ignite is going to breathe a sigh of relief. It was his mistake that almost created the opportunity. But now 10 seconds remaining. Evil geniuses, they're going to try and create their second opportunity of the game. Classics does very well to leave that flick for the final second. They've got to do it with 0 seconds remaining, and TSM are smothering the ball. Game 1 to TSM.
Yeah, TSM just got in the way of everything at the end there. That was the one chance for EG, and Drepe, unfortunately, could not put it on target. He's hit both posts. The ball eventually rolls out to safety. That's a new man. That's really the guy that everybody's looking at is Drepe right now. How well is he going to play for EG? Online hasn't been going swimmingly for them recently, at least not as much as it was with Chicago. When they were playing with Chicago, they pretty much would beat all the teams who weren't G2, Cloud9, and NRG, and then occasionally win against one of the big 3 as well. Now they're starting to they're dropping series here and there to other NA teams. That's slightly worrying.
Well, the move for Drepe did definitely make sense, at least on paper. When you look at their statistics, very similar to Chicago, known as a very offensively solid player when he was on Evil Geniuses. We saw him score so many clutch goals when they required it, and Drepe, you know, forever.
It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, sort of like the cheat. Drepe was sort of the cheat player if you're ever playing fantasy, Rocket League. And it made sense on paper, but so far, now that Drepe is now finally settled in a little bit more, this is the event where analysts, you know, everyone at home is going to start pulling a little bit of some conclusions to what we should expect from this team. But I think that was a tactical mistake from Evil Geniuses in that game. They played a slower match, and they played a slower match against someone like Remco, who is going to just thrive in that environment.
Oh yeah, the TSM were never going to back down from a speed challenge. If they think that there's a team going up against them that thinks that they're faster than they are, and they're going to try and show them otherwise. And EG, I don't know if they really truly believe that they are the faster of the 2 teams here. If they do win, they're going to have to make it a strategical victory. I think they know that. But oh my goodness, Remco just annihilates the top corner at the start of game 2. Classics just needs to do more here.
That's going to roll up, otherwise that is going to leave exactly that sort of opportunity. Remco, 2 opportunities so far this series. He's made good on both of them. And we came into this, the desk was talking all about Ignite's shooting proficiency. Remco is making a very good case for himself. Oh, and that might go the entire length. First goal of this series for Evil Geniuses. I don't think this is how they pictured it in their head, but hey, you take what you can get.
That's great power by Drepe. He's caught it before the bounce, which might have surprised the last defender for TSM, but really I don't know where their third went. They had somebody grabbing back right corner boost, but not rotating into net afterwards. A bit risky. And again, they've just done the same thing. Mets has gone back right corner boost and then turned upfield without seeing how the kickoff is going to develop. That is going to lead to some kickoff goals against them. They just have to know that. They have to accept that if they're going to use this strategy. It's maybe going to give them some more kickoff pressure in their favor. but it's also a huge risk. They're going to concede every now and then.
Ignite's not got the boost to keep this going. Now boost is pick up by Classics, but once again, a lot of struggles from Evil Geniuses trying to play this one out. Finally will do so. That's Norris to Ignite. Ignite's definitely not getting a double touch from that. Definitely know he's capable of them. Seems to be scoring them for fun back in the G-Finna Elite Series. Now off the backboard, Norris is challenged by Classics. And Ignite is now one-on-one against Drippy, who quite handily gets the ball pass, but Corrupted G's positioning is solid. And Evil Geniuses will come out better for this rotation. But not quite as good as they would want it to have been. Classics just slightly out of position, couldn't try and move forward as quickly as he wanted to.
It's really smart by Drippy, trying to use the ceiling to get the ball center. He knew he probably wasn't going to get it past the TSM members who were already stationed on the wall, ready to intercept his forward play. Now Drippy fast into the air again. Matched at the speed of TSM. We're all tied up. It's an equal game in all sense of the word, but not anymore. Corrupted G breaks the deadlock. Is 2-1 in favor of Evil Geniuses. He does shoot low underneath the pre-jumping Metsonoris. Smart placement by the team captain.
Yeah, and absolutely love the pass there from Classics. Puts it straight onto the small angle that you get on that wall that you just can't predict where it's going to go. Always leaves the attacking player an advantage because he's got more range of motion to work with. That's going to be dropping straight down. Drippy tries to keep it going. Classics not going to dive in already with Drippy moving forward. For the first time this series, Evil Geniuses have got the lead. Although this is Ignite with the flick, top corner, 2-all.
Great composure by Ignite. You know, he's a player most known for his speedy plays, his acceleration that he can apply to the ball. But here he's just slowed it right down, found the one place in the goal that was completely undefendable. And now it's TSM with an equalizer of their own. Game 2, proven to be far more explosive than the first. Gotta say though, the kickoffs are still worrying me for TSM. They're leaving so much space in their half. EG are starting to exploit that.
And bad kickoffs against Classics, who is just so good at killing the ball in the midfield and allowing one of his teammates to move forward and take a shot. Corrupted G drops down. This could be a great goal, but it just wasn't direct enough to Drippy, who can't make too much from this. It is going to bounce off the post. Ignite picks out 2 players, and now Classics all by his lonesome. It's going to be TSM, have the opportunity to try and move forward. Drippy is bumped, but Classics able to help out.
That was a little bit scary there for TSM. You know, all started with a kickoff. They weren't able to get any pressure going in their favor, and what a block by Corrupted G. He's just slammed this ball into the middle after neutralizing Ignite's clear attempt. Ignite not able to get the ball into the corner there. He's just ran straight into Corrupted G. Drippy doesn't miss those.
I love what Evil Geniuses are doing with the ball-carrying player. Force a challenge. Don't try and beat the player. Just force the challenge. And as soon as you do that, you're at least getting a 1-for-1 trade, and it's then whoever's quicker between the 2 shadowing players. And so far, they've trusted themselves to be quicker, but that is an open net. And Ignite's got himself a second.
You know, timely manner to be talking about speed as Corrupted G is completely outdone here. Ignite just zooms into the frame from left side. Corrupted G had no idea he was coming for that ball. That's the advantage of coming in from behind the goalkeeper, on the far side of the box. You know, if Ignite's attacking down the right wing there, Corrupted G's got him in plain sight and he can adjust accordingly. He can move in the way of the shot. He can try and make a block happen, but there he had just no idea that Ignite's even coming. He probably thought that it was possible, but last second Ignite comes into the frame and the shot's already past you.
There's going to be Metsonoris, can't quite get contact. Had a very quiet game so far.
Well, that should really be a pass by Classic, surely, but he's actually found himself in a shot in. I can't believe that nobody from TSM got away with this, but Classics takes the lead back for himself. Might go looking for the demo there, but Classics managed to escape from him. Well played by EG. They're refusing to just give this one to TSM.
It's a very brave ball to be playing as well, because you know if it goes wrong, you're giving up possession. You're also taking yourself out of the play. Now drop down. Almost immediately responded to again.
It's Drippy this time with a clutch save.
That's Norris. Off the backboard. Corrupted G is already up. He might not be there in time.
Oh!
Remco's got his second. And if they want to try and win this, they might have to give a hat trick to either him or Ignite.
Remco going up for Metsa's pass here. Corrupted G not able to block this one. Good luck saving these. Well, this is one of the highest scoring games we've had on stream all day. Both teams getting 4. This one's going right down to the wire. sure we'd all love for EG to make a series out of this. TSM are not going to make it easy for them. How many times have they equalized as soon as EG get their noses in front? Can EG do it again, though? Shown resilience so far this game. They need to show some more.
Already up. Corrupted G. He's got one player out. Metznaris forced to clear. And he's straight over to Drippy, who's maybe got an option. Corrupted G looking for Drippy again, but now they've got 2 players out. And if Metza got that one, that could have been Evil Genius's caught, but they'll be happy to see him whiff. Now off the backboard again. And this is very shaky from TSM as Drippy will potentially score the game-winning goal, a hat-trick hero.
What a pass by Classics. He's managed to fake a shot and hit the ball straight in Drippy's path. And most importantly, allowed Drippy to run onto that one. That was the problem that you had with Corrupted G earlier. Drippy and Corrupted G almost had a huge blunder. But the two of them managed to combine their efforts into passing the ball into a place where Metza could take it for free. Luckily for them, Metza did not capitalize. Will TSM respond again? They got 30 seconds. EG applying the stranglehold, though Drippy makes it 6. That might be the game, Shogun.
I said earlier on that they were replacing Chicago's offensive prowess for a different player with a lot of offensive prowess. 4 goals on Drippy in a game that Evil Geniuses had to fight for. Phenomenal play from him. I really want to pull attention to Classics as well. I don't think I've seen a challenge he's lost in this game.
He's reading very well. He's playing his angles like an expert right now. Always making sure to just not lose 50-50s really badly. I think that's the theory he's going for. As long as he doesn't get absolutely crushed in a 50-50, it's not going to end up too bad. This should be the win now. Drippy will confirm the victory for Evil Geniuses with a clear, and they've managed to put 6 past TSM here. That's an outrageous tally. You know, if you told me that they were only going to score 6 goals this whole series, I would have probably believed you. But they've actually put 6 past them in a game. TSM might be starting to question their strategy here. Are they being a little bit baited, perhaps, to play EG's game? EG are definitely getting to play the way that they want to play right now.
I think me and you can both agree on one thing, however. That kickoff's got to change.
Oh, absolutely. It's so risky for TSM. You know, we've always talked about this with professional teams refusing to adapt their kickoff strategy, even slightly, if they insist on cheating and grabbing corner boosts, and maybe like doing it a little bit later, or doing it or turning back to the goal to maybe save a potential shot that could be coming. And there's so many different variations of kickoffs that could be hurting them there. I don't know if what they're doing is a good idea at the end of the day.
There was a common theme throughout this game as well for Evil Geniuses and a lot of the goals that they ended up scoring. One player takes the ball downfield, forces a challenge. There's someone already there to try and take a shot. Rinse, repeat, grab that first game win for yourselves in this series. But still got 2 more games required. We've seen TSM play to their strategy. We've seen Evil Geniuses play to theirs. I'm very curious to see how these next potentially 3 games go.
Well, yeah, if Evil Geniuses can just keep on baiting TSM into these challenges, like you said earlier, if they can just run the ball in front of themselves, draw in that challenge, which is, at the end of the day, likely ineffective. And that's one TSM player out of the game. The rotation is broken. And without the rotation, really, what are TSM? Another kickoff going in EG's favor this time. Metza is in the goal, and that's so important. He was able to make the save there. He turned around not a moment too late.
The most important thing about rotation is the lack of uncertainty. You're making predictions, and when you leave it that late before anything is solidly known, when you're going for challenges like that, it means that the off-ball players can't try and predict. That's what's making it difficult for TSM at this moment in time. Classics taking his time. Does end up dropping down. Remco, we've got Metznaris on the far side, who just says he doesn't really fancy too much of that one. Off the backboard. Nobody already up there. Ignite can shoot, and he'll wish to have done better.
Oh yes, Ignite would love to have that chance again. I'm sure he knows that he could do better with that one. I mean, there was 2 goalies in the net, and I think he put it in a place where both of them could reach. But it gone. TSM sitting back. They're not really being drawn in so far by EG. They're not playing EG's game. Will EG be able to trick them into doing just that? Drippy to the crossbar, double touch down low. Classics looks to get up for it, but it's got the Corrupted Chief pre-jumping in. You gotta think Corrupted G was going for the previous ball. What on earth is he doing up for this already? What?
And Ignite is not happy right now. Classics, you owe Corrupted after that one.
Well, Corrupted G probably looks at Classics and thinks, I don't think Classics can reach that one. I better go help him out here. Oh, he's gone for it and hit the bar. Oh, well, that works as well. Let's just take the 1-goal lead. Easiest game in the world for Evil Geniuses. With a very interesting 3-man passing play, more akin to a freestyling montage.
That was more Harlem Globetrotters than it was anything else.
Indeed. Well, double alley-oop there, but TSM did not look happy, and that's worrying. I mean,
I think they know that they're being drawn into the style of game that they don't want to play at this moment in time. They've got to be much more aggressive in the midfield, because even if TSM don't want to go for too many of these challenges towards their inside the field, they are forced to do so whenever Evil Geniuses go for a double tap, when they move that ball to the backboard and follow it up, because you've got to go and respect that. You can't give up a free shot on goal.
Well, there's so many like air dribbles into 50-50s as well. It's not just the ground dribbles into 50-50s. See Classics there just taking it off the ground. Oh my goodness, and not another goal for EG. This one will get saved, but the challenges for Evil Geniuses, they are just forcing the issue. TSM, for the time being, don't have a consistent answer. At times they're making chances and they're clearing their lines just fine, but other times they're getting second best by a long way. It doesn't look like the goal is coming soon. TSM stuck in the corner here, but hold on, everybody from Evil Geniuses has also joined him in that same corner. It's well dealt with by Corrupted G though.
Yeah, TSM struggling to put any plays together. Classics for another pass. That is a very far forward defender. Just about makes contact. Otherwise, that is going to be an open net for Evil Geniuses to try and make it 2. Classics takes his time and trying to be a little bit too cheeky with that one. Dropping straight down, Mets Norris. He's got no options here, and this is a big problem for TSM. They go forward, they take the ball, but there's nothing that they can really do with it, especially when the ball's in the air.
Yeah, it's a reluctance to dribble as well. Very little ball control on the half of TSM. Is anybody going to step up and be the man to try play a different style than they're used to playing? Another challenge is absorbed by Corrupted G this time. I know where Ignite with a shot, but he's not made it count. And that's not the first time we've said that this series. Corrupted G is just an absolute beast in defense this game. Everything that TSM are trying to make happen, he is there. And he is sweeping it up with ease.
One of the former North American top goal scorers in an RLCS season. He's only starting to apply his trade in the other side of the field, and he's doing such a great job of it. Drepe taking his time. Corrupted G can get it back over to him, but is immediately challenged. Classics to Drepe again. It's so annoying for TSM. Every time they get a hold of the ball, they suddenly realize this isn't the opportunity that we need. Ignite moving forward. He's got enough boost, but he also had Remco, and Remco was definitely the better option than just passing that straight into the defensive line from Evil Geniuses.
It looked like he got faked off the ball. He saw somebody starting to rush towards him, thought it was a challenging player, tried to flick it over them, but it was just a fake challenge. So well played to EG once again, this time tricking Ignite into giving away the possession for free.
Backboard touch. Corrupted G, he respected Remco a little bit too much there. Now Mets Norris. Too much time to set up the flick. He couldn't get onto his hood. That's a great clear. That's going to go the entire length if Corrupted G was not there to cut that one out. Well, 10 seconds remaining. TSM have got to go the entire length of the pitch. Metza straight down to the middle. They've got past one. 2 players back now. But they've got nobody around to follow up that touch.
Off the backboard. That's awkward for EG.
Oh, flew past the ball, but couldn't get the shot off. And Evil Geniuses are on series point.
Wow, I would love to see an alternate angle of that final second there. You would expect someone, the third man for TSM, to barrel in and slam that ball on target. There wasn't even contact on the ball. This is worrying for TSM. Goals that you would expect them to be scoring are turning into complete whiffs. It's not just that they're missing the target, they're missing the ball stroke, and that's definitely less than ideal. And look at what's happening at the other end. I mean, TSM can't be happy about that either.
No, absolutely not. TSM, they are being drawn into a war of attrition, and it's a war of attrition that they just can't win. This is Evil Geniuses not only playing their style, but they're forcing the opponent to play their style as well. And that's something that they've struggled at previously. We see them against NRG, we see them against Cloud9, and you know, it seems like they've got a play style for them, and then they just can't quite draw those big names into it as well. But so far, it has been exactly Evil Geniuses doing exactly what they want to do. But on the side of TSM, I want to speak to you now about what they can improve moving forward. Right now, they need some trust in that defense. They need someone on the far side of the field who they can actually pass to, because every time we see them get the ball out, there's nothing there. You're just giving the ball straight back over to Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, they would love to have someone who can actually take a chance. There was that, obviously, one second remaining backboard pass that didn't turn into anything. But before that, Metza did have a chance to make a dribbling play. He was in a 1v1 with Classics, and he didn't even flick the ball. He just ran into the challenge. And, you know, you've just got to make the defender do something there. He's got to at least get it past one player, and he's the favorite to do so. But he just sat behind the ball and ended up getting a whole lot of nothing. Now Drip is in a 1v2. He gets the ball past Remco. This seems to be a common occurrence. 50-50 happens and the ball bounces into TSM's half. And they have one less player to defend it.
As well as the boost steals from Evil Geniuses means that it's just not that far-paced. Gonna go long this time. Corrupted G has to save. It's still gonna be loose and available. Ignite should go for a passing play here, but it's gonna go to the far side. Well covered by Drippe. And Metanaris' touch probably wasn't the better one here. I prefer Ignite moving in, but maybe he just called that he had no boost and that he'd rather not try and play that one. Still, TSM looking at least a little bit faster than they were in the last game, looking more confident on the ball, and that is going to be huge because they crucially need this first goal, because I can imagine EG getting the first one and shutting up shop.
No, like what I saw there from TSM, though, they're actually making effective touches of the ball. They're making good use of possession. They're, you know, they're being rewarded with a few chances, not the best chances, and actually it's going to end up as a counter-attack for EG. This must be so frustrating for TSM. What is Metza doing? Firing straight at a defender there. He's got to go high there, surely.
You've either got to go high or you've got to read that it happened and force the challenge. You don't just blast the ball because it's just going to ricochet off you. Another poor decision from TSM cost them, and Evil Geniuses just holding the lines as they need to do. No rotational mistakes from them so far. Gonna go to the far side, and Remco crucially gets the goal quickly for TSM.
This time it's actually Metza getting bumped into position, and he has done well. There's a backflip pass off the sidewall by Metza after he just landed almost directly underneath the ball. There you go, Metza's made up for his previous misplay. Can TSM use this as a springboard to propel them forward? Or upward, probably.
They'd rather go anywhere except their own side of the field. Doesn't matter which direction.
Yeah, they'll take anything they get at this point. EG are still looking threatening. There's so many fake challenges and, you know, subtle things that the EG players are doing that are just making this incredibly awkward for TSM.
I want to point towards the play that we just saw there, how relaxed they are in defense. Happy to take the ball to their own side of the field. You know, take some time, get players back, reboost, use the backboard, and then try and play their way out. That has resulted in TSM being able to hold offensive line for quite a while here. These Drippe got a hold of the ball. Is there anyone back for this one? It's going to be Remco jumping towards it with Classics. Scrambles himself into position. TSM, though, have their longest offensive drive in a very long time.
It's a great save by Classics to keep the game tied up. You know, like you said, I do think TSM have adjusted well. It's awkward, but they've made the correct adjustments. They're starting to take more touches on the ball before just lobbing it clear. And it's creating chances. They just have to be so careful. If they move up with all three players like they did earlier in the game, they could end up being counter-attacked on. That's exactly what EG are going for. That's how they scored their first goal this game. They're trying to make it happen again. Just waiting for TSM to overcommit. This is really awkward though for EG. They're playing a dangerous game right now. Just letting one of the best offenses in the world come at you over and over again. There's only so long you can do that before a goal is found. And it turns out they lasted until 1 minute and 43 seconds. And there it is for TSM. It seemed inevitable.
Yeah, it was a valiant effort of defensive line. But for TSM, this was always coming. This is the way that they like to play. And Evil Geniuses gave it to them. We've had two very different styles of game so far, Johnny. This is the one that TSM look like they should be winning. Now they've just got to be very disciplined. The second one will be nice, but don't get too far ahead of yourselves. Evil Geniuses have proven themselves very capable of going for a counterattack.
Drippy looks pretty good every time he's on the ball, making defenders at least a little bit worried. Wait a second, what is this from iignite? He made something out of nothing there, but this time EG do hang on. You know, if EG do want to counter the adjustments.
Oh, nice opposition!
Oh, wait a minute, what's going on here? Classics has just flicked it from halfway line, and it's ended up going in. That should not be flying in uncontested. iignite, like you said, it's just way off his line. Just not paying attention to the potential threat. Another equalizer for EG. TSM have got to be so much more careful in this, moving forward with all three players.
There's no need, and there's another double commit from the side. TSM not looking like the E-League champions at this moment in time. I've got to say, a lot of it has been down to how Evil Geniuses have played against them, and this is risky. Shot comes off, another double commit for the save, double commit for the clear. iignite this time, taking full control. We've seen the frustrations on TSM throughout this series. They can't allow that to start showing in their gameplay. Remco. He sat waiting for this one because that was almost tapped straight down to the offense. Mercenaris over to iignite. That's going to drop down dangerously. Here comes Remco. Will not be needed. The pressure was enough, and iignite will be credited for the own goal.
The drop-down pass did not work for EG. Metza read it and then showed them how it's done at the other end of the field. Huge plays by Mercenaris. Can TSM hold on for 22 more seconds and bring this to game 5? I mean, EG have got no choice now. I was going to say earlier, they've got to up the aggression if they want to counter this new look TSM who are taking their time on the ball, but obviously that's the only option for them now. 10 seconds on the clock. TSM still in the lead by 1. EG on the ball though. Can they create a chance and take it? Doesn't look likely as iignite's shut them down and grounded the ball. And we are going to go to game 5. TSM scrape out a win. You know, they scored the last goal here with 22 seconds left. This has been anything but an easy series, anything but a one-sided series, like many of us expected. EG are really showing up. This is the best we've seen them play with Drippy on the roster, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they look really solid at the moment. The rotation is so very good. There's just the one game that they started to lose a few of the challenges, and you see how much when your entire strategy is sort of focused on challenges, how it can go against you. Definitely a period there, about 2 minutes, where they were very passive, however, and they want to try and eradicate that as we head into our next game. But for TSM, it's a sort of win that you look at and just go, oh, I wasn't happy with how I played, but well, at least I won.
A win's a win. And right now, all they want is one more to enter day 2 without any losses. Remember, seeding is huge. Like, dropping down into the lower bracket when there are this many solid teams in one tournament is a disaster. Doesn't matter when you do it, it's always a terrible idea because you're going to run into so many good teams as you attempt to dig yourself out of that hole. So whoever wins this not only progresses to day 2 immediately, but they'll get an arguably easier game when we start off the group stage, the second group stage tomorrow. Huge game for both teams. If EG can win this, that'll be one of the biggest upsets we've seen all tournament long, and we have seen a few.
As we mentioned coming into this, they are the team that usually steal a game. Seems to be like they've got a once every 4-month clock that they reset, and then it's just like, okay, it's time for us to shock the world.
Drippy.
This is going to go the entire length. Corrupted G will score it, but it's going to come all the way down
Drippy
to a
off
great
the ball
setup.
here. Look at this. He bumps Remco, catches him on the landing with the demo. And then all TSM can do is put the ball in their own net. That play off the ball by Drippy to realize that the counter-attack is actually available there.
Split second was all it took for Drippy to try and sort that out. Now Corrupted G wants to try and make it 2. iignite with a double tap. He just didn't get a very good first touch. Couldn't keep control of his own car. Double commit from Evil Geniuses. They can still keep this going though. TSM, one available. Great block in Classics. Sees that one into the net after reading his opponent's mind.
What? Well, you know, I'll tell you what, these double commits are not ideal, but EG are recovering so quickly that it doesn't really make that much difference. Corrupted G tried to go for the ball, misses, recovers immediately, pops it into the crossbar, or pops into the air rather, and Classics also recovers quickly, dunks it in. It's so hard from TSM's perspective to read what's going on because EG are making a mess in the midfield and actually making it work. They seem to be thriving in the same chaos TSM are capitulating under.
This is looking less like Evil Geniuses and more like Savage at this point. Sort of the unknown chaos entity of Rocket League, and they are fully embracing it here in game number 5, I believe it is.
You're not wrong.
Ignite. Looking to try and keep this going. Can't win the challenge. Corrupted G, I don't know how he's managed to hook his car around that one. But the opportunity's still around for TSM. They're looking to try and make it count, but Classics unchallenged. Drippe for the double tap is cut away.
You know, you've heard in the past, double commit, double the chance for success. Evil Geniuses are proving that to be quite the theory today as Drippe puts in a third goal. What a first touch by Drippe. Many were asking, can this guy stand up and be as tall as Chicago was for when he played on this team? Well, this is going to go a long way in proving the haters wrong.
They were talking about how clutch Chicago was for Evil Geniuses. This is a great performance in an incredibly clutch game for his team. And with 3 goals to nothing up, they are above and beyond the favorites as Ignite. He's got to be turning that one in. Probably would have been challenged for a long time. Turns himself around, can't make contact. But down to Remco to try and hold this rotation down. A 4th goal would kill this series off.
Well, you know, I'm sure Remco is having nightmares. He's remembering the DreamHack Leipzig run that he had last year, losing before the top 16. I think it's surely not again, not when I've just got myself on a good roster for the first time in a long time. You know, it's no need to panic just yet. They do have another game after this, another series after this if they do end up losing, but this is all too familiar with a lesser team, making them look like the second best on the field.
No offense to them though, Evil Geniuses are not London esports. They are a much higher quality opposition. London esports, if you are listening, I do love you still, but you know. Oh wow! Brace for Corrupted G.
Slams one in. Is this the game of the solo plays? Remco just could not make contact with the ball there. It looks like they're tilted. You know, when I was making the comparison here to their last year's run at DreamHack, it's mostly looking at the faces on the camera. It's nothing to do with Evil Geniuses and their level. I'm definitely not expecting this to be a one-sided game. Never. No day of the week would you think EG are just going to roll over and give you a series. But this is just dire for TSM. As soon as the goals started going in, the second goal just looked like they almost gave up a little bit. They're like, oh no, this just isn't our day. Drippe with an outrageous stop on the goal line. It's definitely his day. EG on the verge of day 2 qualification already.
These are soul-sapping plays coming out from Evil Geniuses. Every single time they shut the door on TSM, that fire burns just lower and lower. Remco just trying to force anything at this point, powering the ball off the corner, and it might actually be the play that does it. Metznaris sees his shot saved. I don't believe Metz has been on the scoreboard.
He must have been, surely.
He wasn't in game 1.
I'm trying to remember the goals. I swear Metz must have scored a goal. TSM have had quite a few goals. There was that 4-goal game that they lost. Did he not score in a 4-goal game?
I think both of those were on
60 seconds left on the clock.
Ignite and Remco.
You know, Metz has had his fair share of setup plays. He's definitely not been the only reason that TSM are struggling right now. I think they've had issues related to mostly strategy. They just haven't been able to respond to EG's awkward play style. EG are just flopping around the field and making it work. It's quite incredible to see. There's surely going to be a goal. It's not even going to be a goal now for TSM. They're going to be lost for what to do.
That's the soul gone. Talking earlier on soul sapping, that is it done.
I mean, if the soul was gone earlier, what happens after that? What's the next step?
I believe you go hollow at that point.
And poor TSM, you can't help but feel sorry for them here, but Evil Geniuses, this is just so impressive. You know, a team that were struggling online before this tournament started, and really getting a lot of questions asked of them, thinking not only are they going to be taking a hit to their rise into the top of NA teams, but are they going to be able to hold their own in the middle of the pack? Well, if they can play like this, I think they're going to be just fine.
Absolutely. Evil Geniuses with a statement win over the E-League Cup champions, TSM. We're going to have to play again today. They're going to be dropping down to the lower bracket. And there are sharks swimming down there at the moment. Not a place you want to be, but Evil Geniuses pulling off their strategy to pure perfection. And we've got a saying over in the UK, it's like, yeah, he's good, but can he do it in a cold night in Stoke? Evil Geniuses are like cold night in Stoke, because you go there and no matter how good you are, you have to grind a victory against them. And it's such a different challenge to what you see from almost anything else in Rocket League.
Yeah, I mean, that last game, TSM are probably just going to try and forget about that one. There was quite a lot of stuff going on that they're not going to really have an answer to most of the time, because they're just not used to this. They're just not used to EG's style. They're just throwing players in at the ball, and it's working. But at the same time, they're being smart about it. They're not just lumping people forward and triple commit, double commit. I think it happened on one of the goals. It was a funny goal, but they're actually playing really, really smart. There were some great solo plays, double touch from Corrupted G, dribbling play from Drippy, where he completely surprised TSM with his first touch. Like, these are plays that really secured the game, and I'm very impressed with EG. This is a team that we expected to be struggling. One of the more likely teams from RLCS to be knocked out day one, but in fact, they're looking like they might be able to make a deep run, perhaps even make day 3.
Well, Evil Geniuses do take this one. I feel like we've got some analysts that have got a lot of questions to answer, because they were both wrong, I believe. So we're going to be heading in over to the desk.
A lot of questions to answer, or a lot of words to eat, you know? I don't know at this point. I'm willing to say I'm eating every single one of them.
To be fair, the casters also said TSM were going to win too, but they don't mention that, you know, but hey, it's all right.
I just felt like I opened with a bold move to down Drippe, and that was insane what we got from that roster throughout the entirety of that series.
Those offensive challenges, just one by one, it seemed like Evil Geniuses was winning every single one, and TSM just couldn't get out of their half when EG was winning those games.
Yeah, and you said eat words, and that is exactly what I must do. I said I'm not too sure about the defense of Evil Geniuses. They came out there, they played solid, and they kept a lot of tough chances out of the net. And then, of course, I Ignite TSM in general also struggled to find the back of the net a couple times. And again, that challenge is going EG's way, so well done.
How much of this would we put to some of the chaotic play that I feel like we got there from TSM? It felt a little unorthodox, a little bit more chaotic than normal, or really EG stepping up?
So I think the chaos came out of just those challenges by EG, where they would just throw bodies like at the ball and just continually win those challenges. It made TSM like have to play passive, have to play that goal line defense, and that opened up some more space for EG, and they were able to capitalize, and they scored a ton of goals throughout the series versus a very defensive team.
Yeah, and some really, actually a very defensive team is absolutely right. I mean, TSM historically is generally quite tough to get the ball through, so one must give credit where it's due, and a well-executed day on offense, especially from the shooting department.
One of the guys that definitely deserves that credit here, joining us now at the desk, is going to be Corrupted G. Corrupted G, I've got to ask you, what does Drippe bring to that roster, and how much of that was an influence in the series versus TSM?
I mean, he just brings like positivity and just solid gameplay in general. Like, he's not too flashy, he just knows exactly how to play and how to play smart and when to play smart.
Is he the rock for that roster in your perspective?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
All right.
So my question, I heard that EG was a little upset about their seed. Like, you guys thought that you should have been ahead of Vitality at least. But now you take out TSM, so you take over that 3 seed. Does that help you a lot going into day 2 because you figured that you have some easier matchups? Or, like, is everyone just so stacked that it really doesn't matter?
Honestly, I think everything's so stacked, it doesn't really matter. Like, I'm not sure what the other groups are looking like and who we're reversing, but we're just going to go into the next game, play our game, play strong, play smart, and that's it.
What is the game? Because like we kind of had a pretty good idea about what the game was when you guys had Chicago, but it's like now we weren't sure what we were going to get. So what is the game?
Honestly, we just try to focus on clean rotations, communication, passing, and just playing solid overall. Like, we're not that flashy team anymore. With Chicago, he was a bit more flashy, but now we're just like,
yo, hit the ball. Yeah.
Just out of
we'll shoot, we score.
Just out of curiosity, would you prefer to be that play style here, or is that more just an adjustment within the roster, or do you think that that is, you know, maybe a more ideal way to play the game?
I don't prefer either play style. I think it's just you just have to adapt to the situation you're given, and any given day, Yeah, that's it.
Whatever cards you get. Yeah,
Yep.
I really appreciate it there, Corrupted G. Well, with that, we are in fact going to go to a quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. But first, I got to list a couple of our sponsors here, as I am struggling to be able to find our sponsors. It is, in fact, DreamHack, Psionics, Monster, and, in fact, esportsmanagement.com. You can go ahead and check out each and every one of those. And again, we will be back after this commercial break with some more Rocket League action.